Hello, everybody. What is up? This is Kirsten here. Thank you so much for joining me again. This is the Balanced Vibes podcast. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Today, we're talking about signs of a strong and healthy metabolism. How do you know? Because you have probably heard that, yes, you have to have fast metabolism. Yes, I want to have a healthy and strong metabolism. But what does it mean? How do you know that you have one? How do you know? So this is exactly what we're going to talk about today. Before that, as always, I want to invite you to join my Facebook group, which is called Fit and Fueled. So this is meant for women who want to lose body fat, who want to get physically stronger, or they want to build a lot of muscle and do it without crazy diets, without crazy restrictions, without silly workouts, but by doing actually workouts that work, by building serious muscle, eating enough food. So this is what we're doing there. And I'm sharing helpful content there throughout the week. I'm also going live very, very often in the group. And there's stuff that actually never makes it to the podcast. So there are things that you can only find in the Facebook group, and it's very, very highly valuable. We have about 400 ladies there now. So please join for the community too. Everybody's friendly, and I think you're gonna enjoy it. So today we're going to talk about signs of a strong and healthy metabolism. And if you listened to my previous episode, you already know that you have to earn the right to lose body fat, to go into calorie deficit. And it is very, very helpful that your metabolism is strong and healthy. So now if you have done the things that I told you, you should be getting closer and closer to that strong and healthy metabolism. So if you remember, we talked about things like eating breakfast, eating carbs, stopping intermittent fasting, eating good quality foods, eating enough food, resting and recovering more, doing strength training workouts. So all these things should be getting you closer and closer to actually healing your metabolism from that lot of damage that has previously been done by lots of dieting or constant undereating. And by the way, this constant undereating doesn't even have to look like, oh, I ate like 1,200 calories for 6 months straight. Well, this is really bad, right? But some people, even if they have been eating like 1,700, it doesn't sound like, oh, it's terribly low. But if that person's metabolic rate or total daily energy expenditure is actually about 2,300, and they have been constantly eating 1,700, this is still a little bit of a too big of a deficit. And if she's been there for a little too long, then her metabolism is not in a super healthy place anymore. Of course, it's going to be much easier to get that person out of that low calorie place versus getting somebody who's been eating only 1,200 out of that place. So it's going to take less time if your cut or your deficit hasn't been too deep, but still both of these people have to build up a more resilient metabolism and stronger and healthier metabolism before they can start a cut. And so now let's dive in. Today I have to share 12 points with you that tell you that your metabolism is really strong and healthy. But the first thing on the list I have here is that your hands, feet, and your tip of your nose feel warm. If you think about it, you probably have heard so many women complaining that my hands are always cold. My hands are always cold, no matter what time of the year, no matter what the temperature is like, my hands are just cold. And honestly, this was me too, especially when I was really undernourished, when I was doing tons of cardio and never really met my calorie needs. I was always cold. And I was just so skinny too. But it can also happen to those who are not terribly skinny, right? So it doesn't mean that you can only have super cold hands and feet if you're super skinny. No, if your metabolic rate is super low because you're not eating enough and you're just stressed out all the time, then your hands and feet and your tip of your nose will be always cold. And so if they are now warm, right, you feel comfy, you feel good. Of course, I'm not talking about like freezing temperature. It's normal that your hands and feet are getting cold there. But if normal temperature, normal circumstances, you don't have that problem, your hands feel normal temperature, everything's like fine, then this is a good sign of a strong and healthy metabolism. And it totally so much improved for me. Now I'm actually the one here who's always warmer. Actually, I'm always warmer than my husband is, which is kind of rare because usually I always hear women are always cold and men are always too warm. So the temperature in the house can be like a point of argument sometimes. Here, yeah, we are the opposite. I'm actually the one who's always warm. Because I think my metabolism is just so much healthier now than it was back in the day, when I did all the crazy overtraining and undereating stuff that I don't recommend anybody do anymore. All right. The next sign of a strong and healthy metabolism is that you have steady energy most days, right? So you don't have like significant dips. You don't have moments where you're like, oh my God, I just cannot keep my eyes open. Of course, with everything that I mentioned today, it's not that you cannot ever have a day where you need an afternoon nap, or you cannot ever have a moment when your hands are cold, right? We're not talking about like terms of like absolutes here. But if you have those like low energy days a lot and you're just always tired, can't keep your eyes open, you're dragging, that's a sign that your metabolism is not thriving. So if you have steady energy most days, then this is a good sign that your metabolism is pretty strong and pretty healthy, probably. Now, the next thing is deep sleep. So if you're able to get through the night without waking up too many times, maybe once to go use the bathroom, whatever, and you're able to go back to sleep, this is a good sign that your metabolism is healthy. And as you know, I've been always open about this. My sleep is not my forte. I wish it was. It's not. So this is somewhere where I struggle, and I'm not saying that my metabolism is the best of everything in the world. It's it could be better as well. Let's put it that way. And sleep is somewhere where it could improve, although it has gotten a lot better, which is wonderful. And I love it. Sleeping is amazing. All right. The next sign of a strong and healthy metabolism is that you like and want to have sex. So having a normal libido is actually a sign of a normal metabolism. We're supposed to have that desire. And if you never have it, something's up. You're probably under too much stress. Just too much stress. And you may have noticed it. And again, openly sharing with you, definitely feeling more sex drive on a vacation because you're like, I don't have the work stress and, kind of feeling the mood more often. And, it's just how it is because you don't have that stress. So pay attention to that. How is that healthy sign for you? Is it there? Do you have libido? Do you want to have sex? Because you should. The next thing is, especially obviously for cycling women, you have normal periods at regular intervals, and you also have ovulation every month. Of course, not talking about birth control here because it actually basically takes away your menstrual cycle. So what you're getting on your birth control is not a menstrual cycle, right? But if you don't take any form of birth control, and you should have normal menstrual cycles, and they should come at regular intervals. So very little fluctuation. And let's say you're like somewhere between like 28 to 31 days. This is normal. This is good. And you also want to ovulate every month. So ovulation is more important than the period itself, because you could definitely have a cycle where you only get your period, but you didn't actually ovulate. This is not a full cycle. So this is called an ovulatory cycle. And again, if you have a stressful month, it may happen that you don't ovulate. But most of the time, you should ovulate, and you should be able to, because you're a smart woman, you should be able to know when you ovulate. There are a couple of ways to tell, right? Typically, you get more cervical mucus, and also after your ovulation, your body temperature goes up. This is how you confirm your ovulation. You can take your temperature with a thermometer in the morning, see when that spike happens, or if you have something like I have, the Aura Ring, that will tell you when you have ovulated, and it's very reliable. So you can see the temperature went up. Now at the same time, when it was creeping up, then also I got more cervical mucus, and now the cervical mucus is kind of down and the temperature's up. That means that I ovulated. And that, of course, should happen in the middle of the cycle. So if you have a 28-day cycle, then around day 14, this usually happens. If the period between your ovulation and period is very short, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, that means that you're also under a lot of stress, even though if you are getting your ovulation. So something's up there. Your progesterone is probably not where it needs to be. So you're probably under stress. So healthy, normal cycles with the ovulation there in the middle, somewhere approximately in the middle of your cycle. Cycle, by the way, is not just the length of your period. It's from day one of your period until the next one starts. So this is your full cycle. All right, the next sign of a strong and healthy metabolism is minimal weight fluctuations. So, a couple pounds here and there. If you take your weight, take it the same time in the morning. So when I say minimal weight fluctuations, I don't mean that, morning and evening, there can be a big fluctuation there because you have hopefully eaten 3 meals and a couple of snacks, maybe 4 meals. Of course, your evening weight will be higher than morning. But if you take consistently your body weight in the morning, then there should be relatively small fluctuations there. And that's a sign of healthy, strong metabolism as well. All right, we have covered 6. We have 6 more to go. The next one is strong and healthy hair, skin, and nails. So if your hair breaks super easily, if you're just not able to grow your nails a little bit, they start breaking, then something is missing in the body, something's lacking, and your metabolism is not as strong as you maybe thought it would be. The next thing is you are able to relax. Maybe you didn't expect this one to be here because you would be like, what is that? Why is that? Because we think it's all just physical. It's just like muscles and hair and energy, but it's not. Actually, your ability to relax too. If you're constantly on high alert, which brings me back to the 2 episodes ago where we talked about parasympathetic and sympathetic. If you're constantly on high alert, you're not able to relax. Your heart rate is up, your thoughts are spinning like crazy, and your body feels as if it has to run away from something. So if you're constantly in this state, then your metabolism is not probably super healthy. The next thing is a restful sleep. So of course, I already mentioned deep sleep before, but restful too. Are you waking up in the morning and feeling rested most of the time? Or is it always like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I have to start the next day. I'm still so tired. So if you get that, probably not super healthy metabolism yet. Of course, you can improve that. All of these things, you can improve them. The next thing, highly, highly, highly important, is you are strong. Your metabolism is strong and healthy. If you rarely get sick, you have a pretty solid immune system. So if you're somebody who catches everything that's going around, you're sick like 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year, then it's not a sign of a strong metabolism. And of course, we can talk about a lot why this happens, why our immune system is not as strong. I think a lot of people are not getting enough sunlight. They're not getting enough light in general. Maybe they're not lifting weights. Maybe they're eating like crap, putting stuff in their bodies that don't belong there, taking too many medications and other things that don't belong in the body. This is where the immune system takes a hit. So we have to take care of that. For me, personally, sunlight is a big one. I feel like I always soak it up, and it's just really, really, really good for me. I'm so lucky to live in Arizona and get a lot of sun. It's been wonderful. All right, 2 more left here. You have regular poops and you don't have diarrhea or constipation, at least not ongoing all the time. So this is also a sign of healthy metabolism. You definitely want to have bowel movements at least once a day. And it's even better than twice a day. Actually, today, one of my clients said, I've been adding a little bit of fat to my diet, which she needed to do because her fat was incredibly low. It was only like 39 grams or so on average. It was very, very low. And we increased her fat intake. And she told me that, hey, you know what? I'm noticing that I'm going to the bathroom twice a day now to poop. Is this normal? And this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Like pooping twice a day is better than pooping once a day, right? So this is how things should be. But at least one normal bowel movement a day is very good. And this is absolutely a sign of healthy metabolism. You have to, if this is not happening, there's some ways to make it better. I don't recommend taking like magnesium citrate or something like that. I would like to do something a little gentler, maybe castor oil. Helps really, really well. So especially if you've never used it before, you start using it. I'm actually going to link to it in show notes too. You may notice that the next day you have better bowel movement. You put it on overnight, you wear it, and the next day you may get a really good bowel movement. And of course, fiber intake is a big one that helps as well. And finally, a sign of healthy and strong metabolism is that you're able to build muscle. So if you're feeling like you're putting in the work and reps and everything in the gym, but it's just not happening, I'm not gaining any muscle, then probably something is up. Why is your body not understanding this signal? What is going on? Because the signal that you're sending is, hey, let's build muscle. Because you should be lifting weights and you should be eating enough to build muscle. If you're already doing this and it's not happening, then something else is deeper is going on. But a lot of times, honestly, the reason why we're not able to build muscle is just we're not eating enough. And to think that muscle is just jumping on my body without me eating any calories, not so well. It's not going to go that well. So, all right. So this is it. Signs of strong and healthy metabolism. I hope this was helpful for you, and that you learned what you have to know and what you have to notice about your body. So thank you for listening. Let me know if you have any ideas, if you have any thoughts, any topic requests. I am all ears, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.